Hello, everyone. So there's three things that I said that I wouldn't do when I was here. It was read off of a paper, be nervous, and cry. And I'm probably going to do all of those things. So that's okay, though. When you have a loss, maybe when you have birth, there's things that you go through and it happens so fast that you don't remember. And I think that when you have a loss, it's even worse because you're kind of in like a fog. So I wrote a little bit of my story that hopefully I turn into a book. So I'm going to read this part, if that's okay, and then I will talk to you guys for the rest. Pain. I'm sitting there listening to everyone crack jokes, pretending to laugh. Stop being so negative, Stephanie. When you think bad things, they happen, says one voice in my head. But I just ate ice cream. It always moves when I eat ice cream, said the other voice. It was February 6th at about 8:30 p.m. and I was 39 weeks pregnant. I had been pregnant enough to know that something was wrong. I waited an hour until I got home alone and I ate a great big bowl of caramel ice cream. This was once my favorite pastime, but after not feeling my child move for a second time, it gained a new meaning. I called my dad to drive me to the hospital and waited for what seemed like hours. With the first ultrasound and no heartbeat, I knew my baby was no longer living. But to spare the feelings of everyone else in the room, I kept quiet until I was officially told by the head doctor. I'm sorry, Miss Crawford, but your baby has passed away. That was the last thing I heard as my mind started to wander. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but it was something between am I dreaming and why is everyone smothering me? The process after that was long and a complete blur. I was put in a hospital bed, blur. An IV was put in my arm, more blur. Then contractions started. The contractions were just like everyone said they would be, painful. But I was going to do it natural like I had decided from the beginning. Then I started to have an anxiety attack with every contraction. Every time I felt pain, my chest got really tight, heavy, and I couldn't breathe. I was dying just like my baby had, and no one believed me. All the doctors and nurses would say, it's anxiety, Stephanie. Just try to breathe. You can breathe. What was their problem? After that 3-month mark, your baby is safe for miscarriage. So it must be me who's dying. Couldn't be my baby. The delivery doctor rubbed my back as my last contraction set in. She sat on the bed next to me and said, I know you really want to do this natural, but I think you should have an epidural. I went through this some years ago, and well, it's not the same feeling when you're not getting the reward in the end. I want you to go through this as comfortably as you can. It's your decision, but this is horrible, and you shouldn't have to be in pain. So I decided to get an epidural. So in comes the anesthesiologist, blur. Then comes the midwife and tells me it's time to push. My mom held one leg, my stepmom held the other. I pushed for 15 minutes, and at 11:45 on February 7th, the midwife said, it's a boy. My first thought was, does that even matter now? My whole pregnancy, I hadn't found out the sex, just to find out that I had a dead baby boy. I'm a blunt thinker. They cleaned him up, wrapped him, and put him in the bassinet anyway. I could see him through the plastic side of the bassinet. I was scared of him. My biggest fear had always been death and anything that has to do with it. So why on earth would God make me birth it? After contemplating in my head for minutes, I finally decided to hold him. He was beautiful, amazing, cute, and dead. How could he be dead and be so cute? It still didn't click. So I can't take him home, and I couldn't. Well, at least not right then. And not outside of plastic wrap in a paper bag. I had Simeon Jelani Crawford cremated, all 8 pounds, 2 ounces, and 22 inches of him. The sad part's over, I promise. So somewhere in that process of me having the baby and deciding that I needed to cremate him and all of the stuff that I needed to do, I had an aha moment. I was 23 years old and I had no idea what a stillbirth even was. Not until I had a stillborn baby myself. So I knew I was something for going through this and being able to still be alive and get up the next day. And so my aha moment was that I decided that I needed to help people. There was no way that women would be able to have this birth, have their baby, decide what's going to happen to their baby, mourn, not want to get up, and still have to fight through life and tell people what's going on with them and where their baby is and why their baby's not here. So I decided to start a nonprofit, and it's called Providence City Community Outreach, and we have a group called Team Simeon, and we get together and we just talk. We're in a space because I learned that once people have a loss, they don't want to talk about it. So we talk about it. I talk about it. I talk about my son all the time. I even decided to heal through birthday parties. Every year on February 7th, we have a birthday party to celebrate him in an age-appropriate way. We've been to bouncy houses, we've been to arcades, we've been roller skating, we've done it all. I have family that supports me, and they come every year, and we do really fun things because I've decided, instead of being sad, although I may cry, instead of being sad all the time, I've chosen to just remember him in a positive way. I also, I'm going to turn around for a second, created a hashtag. Oh, it's here. Is it here? My hair. Oh, my hair. I'm sorry. And it's because he still was born. So because he still was born, I have a purpose now to reach out and be a light to other women that have been through the loss. Because he still was born, I'm strong. Thank you, Audria. And I'm a mother, and no one can take that away from me. Because he still was born, I learned to live out loud because people think I'm crazy for having birthday parties. I'm crazy for walking for him. I'm crazy for talking about him all the time as if he were here. But I do. Because he still was born, I will shine my light for others while they are in their darkness until they can come out. Because he still was born, I celebrate, I honor him, and I love him like he never left. So thank you for hearing my story.